So, we are here with the lovely Hammerdown Harry.
Morning. Thanks for having me on.
Good morning. Now, we are recording this separately because we've all got busy lives, we've all got busy schedules, and this was the only particular time on a Saturday morning we could catch you because you're busy organising Hammerdown Festival, aren't you?
Yes, very, very busy indeed. But yeah, no, I'm really, really grateful for you guys fitting me in. I do appreciate it. On a Saturday morning, so thank you.
I'm not just any Saturday morning. We record this on the 29th of June, which also, Hammerdown Harry, is your birthday. So happy birthday from Festpod.
Thank you. Thanks, mate.
Happy birthday.
Nice. Thank you very much. Yeah, it is indeed. Yeah. Busy day. So,
What kind of a fool agrees to an interview on the birthday?
well, do you know what? I've foolishly taken on lots of things on my birthday. We've got the Hammerdown warm-up show tonight, which has sort of turned into a birthday gig. So that's fun.
Perfect. That's a great celebration.
Yeah, it's all going on. So then I've got to do a few other sort of work bits and then go over to the venue for this evening's show. So it's all going to be very fun.
Wow. So for anyone who hasn't heard of Hammerdown, tell us what Hammerdown is.
So Hammerdown was started about 10 years ago. It's a music festival that specialises in bringing up-and-coming talent and giving them the rock star treatment for the day by putting them on with international touring acts who will bring the crowds. That's the goal and the purpose of the festival. And in 2024, it's a 2-day festival, Saturday 27th and Sunday 28th of July. So just under a month to go. Oh my goodness! And it's at Concord 2 in Brighton.
Okay, in Brighton. That's there's a hell of a rock scene down there, isn't there?
There's a lot of venues and some really, really good ones. I mean, they start right at the grassroots venues, places like the Pipeline, the Brunswick over in Hove, and then develops up into places like the Hope and Ruin, Green Door Store, which are a little bit more well known. And then, of course, when you get to the higher level, you've got the Arch, you've got Patterns, you've got Concord, Chalk, and then Tenacious D played in Brighton the other day at the Brighton Centre, which hosts massive stuff. I mean, that's the biggest venue on the South Coast. So yeah, it's got a big old rock and metal scene going on.
You say you got a couple of kind of headline touring acts to come in, and you got your kind of up and coming bands underneath and giving them that kind of VIP rock star treatment. That's amazing. And look at some of these bands on your lineup for this year. There's several bands on there that I've seen several times before, and I know they're brilliant live acts. And
nice.
How do you kind of pick your bill for Hammerdown?
So there's a lot of things that go into it. So when I'm looking at the top couple of bands in the bill, all I'm really looking for is bands that I like. That's my sort of rule. I have to like what I'm putting on. And then B, the more important criteria, I suppose, is they have to be able to pull a good crowd, because I know full well that the bands on the bottom half of the bill, as great as they are, they're not going to be selling many tickets at £50. They could probably headline, a 100-cap venue for an EP release or whatever, and that's awesome. But that's going to be a £5 a ticket. This is it's money that people have got to put down to come and attend it. So their friends and stuff are probably not going to be coming. So it's really, really important that the top, I'd say, maybe quarter of the bill have the pulling power required to sell day tickets at 30 or weekend tickets at 50 quid. And then for the other bands, the bands lower down on the bill, there's loads of different criteria. They have to be bands that are very good live. Usually it's bands that I've seen before, or bands that I've tried to see and schedules have never aligned. So I'm like, well, fine, I'll just book you for my one, then I'll see you at my own show. But yeah, I mean, in terms of like genres and things, we keep it as open as possible. I like lots of subgenres of rock and metal, and I just mix in whatever I like, and I like it to be quite diverse and to chop and change from some really, really heavy stuff all the way through. I mean, we've had like indie rock there before and all sorts, so I like to keep it flowing.
Some of the acts that people can come and see, I've seen some very interesting names there.
So there's a whole range of different bands this year. Esoterica, that's going to be a real special highlight. I think we've got them coming along. It's a unique, completely one-off set with the Parallax Orchestra, who are the same people who did both Bring Me the Horizon and Alter Bridge at the Royal Albert Hall. So that's
wow.
That's a really special show.
That's shocking, that is, yeah.
It's mad, isn't it? Esoterica have written scores, orchestral scores specifically for this show. It's a complete one-off. They have recorded with these people at Abbey Road before, and they did about 6 songs. And I said, look, I remember calling Luke the drummer and I said, how much is it going to cost to do that live? And he's been like, we've been waiting for somebody to ask us to do this. Let's do it. And so, because they've got an hour, they had to write 5 extra scores specifically for this show, which is just amazing. So that's one real highlight for sure. Other bands I'm particularly excited for, I'm very, very excited to see In Me. Sunday headliners, they're awesome. They're so great. And there are bands that I've just not yet had the chance to see. I've been listening to for a while, and I'm very, very keen to see them. And then the Saturday headliners, Our Hollow, Our Home, I think that's really special for me because they're a band I've followed since before their debut album, like a long time ago. As a teenager, I went to a lot of their gigs. They used to put on this Halloween festival called Halloween. They used to do it every year. Yeah, and I went to the first 3 of them, and they were absolutely awesome. We're talking, I think that was 2015, 16, or 17, or 16, 17, 18, something like that. And I'd seen them, before that, supporting big bands in London and stuff. And to be at a level where I can now book them is, that's quite surreal for me. Having followed them around for so long, so that's quite special to me.
Yeah, you've got Our Hollow, Our Home, South of Salem, Seething Akira, Bleed Again.
Yes.
Some names that you've got there, some brilliant bands.
It's not bad, is it?
Yeah. So this is being held at Concord 2.
Yeah.
Which I haven't personally been to in Brighton. What's the venue like? What's the size?
It's 620 capacity, and it's a legendary place. Concord 2 has been around for a long time. It's one of those venues that, because it's been around forever, everybody's played it. So Architect have played there, Foo Fighters have played, Royal Blood, Reef. Like it's had everybody go through.
Wow.
That. Much like it's not as old as the Joiners in Southampton, but if you know the Joiners, it's only a little venue, but it's had like the Who, Led Zepp, Ed Sheeran play there, all sorts, right? Because it's just been around forever. So, it's one of those kind of venues. So everybody knows Concord 2. It's very well renowned internationally, not just in the UK. It's a pretty awesome place. Inside, all the crowd barriers all beaten up, and there's paint chipped off the walls, and there's gum all over the floor. Right, it's a proper venue, and it's awesome. I love it. But there's so much space. Big outdoor terrace, which we've got for like food vans, and we've got like a whole sort of merch village that we're building. So there's it's going to be cool, man. It's going to be very, very special.
I've got to bring up. Obviously, we met at Hammerdown Festival.
We did,
and I saw your legendary battle suit. Right now, you've become somewhat infamous following this download, with pictures appearing on social media of you conducting the pits.
Yeah.
What a great advert for Hammerdown Festival that was, and what a brilliant idea. How did you come up with that? That's great marketing.
Thank you. Yeah, do you know what? It's worked out very well. So basically, I used to do sales, and when I restarted Hammerdown a couple of years ago, I was doing 16 hours a day in commission-only sales. So just because I was always in a suit, I was doing all of my content on like the Instagram stories and whatever in a suit. So people just sort of associated me with the suit. And then I would be going to gigs in a suit because I'd finish at like 9 p.m. and just go and catch the last couple of bands. And so it became more of a thing, and people would just see this guy in the suit. And I'm obviously the only guy there in a suit. And then what happened is people started to come up to me, and this was very, very surreal for me. People would start to come up to me like, "Oh, are you the Hammerdown guy?" Because I'm clearly the only dude in a suit at a gig, right? Like I'm only the ever one. I've got some pretty loud suits, right? So I'm clearly the only dude doing that. So people were like, "Oh, that's the Hammerdown guy," and so it became a thing. And it wasn't the intention initially, but it became a thing. And then I'd had this funny idea for ages of putting patches on a suit and making, instead of a battle jacket, a battle suit. And I just thought, do you know what? When the Bleed Again boys invited me to come along to Download, I thought, you know what? I'll be professional on the Wednesday, obviously, because I'm working with them, but I'm going to make this battle suit. And so a week before, I'd been ordering all these patches online, and I'm sewing them all on and stuff. And and I got a big QR code for Hammerdown as the back piece, right? It's the big back patch that Moomin Merchandise sorted out for me. So I can go around and people can scan it wherever they go. And it just got. I figured there would be some kind of post about me in one of the Download groups because it is such a bizarre outfit. But it just went wild, didn't it? I don't know. So yeah, it's great. I mean, I'm going to be wearing it tonight at the birthday show, so I'll have it on later.
I say it again. I brilliant. I love it.
Thanks, man.
I really like kind of, I'm not going to say quirky is the wrong word, but kind of inventive, original marketing ideas and sales ideas, and that's one of them. I think that's absolutely brilliant.
Thank you. Yeah, I think you've got to have an angle, you've got to have a gimmick and stuff. I think when there's so many festivals, you need to do something a little bit different. And I'd spent a long time studying and analysing every UK rock and metal festival. I mean, there's like 70 that I keep track of. I've got a whole list on my phone, and I update it about once a month of the social media followings of all the festivals. And I sit for about 2 hours and I go through how much certain festivals have increased and decreased in their TikTok followers and their Facebook likes and stuff. And I keep absolute track of what's going on. And the big thing that I noticed, the festivals that were closing down didn't have a face to the brand. We all know Simon Hall. We all know Andy Copping. We all know the fella from Teddy Rock's festival, right? The guy from Just Push Play Festival. He's always on the stories, right? They're doing well. But the festivals where there's no brands that people can, like no person, that can be associated with the brand, I feel like it makes it less personable, and people, I don't know, people just don't buy tickets. So I wanted to be like the face of the brand, and you just need an angle for that. And the suit just ended up becoming that. It wasn't intentional, but it is now. So,
so Andy Copping was the hat. You are the suit. I like it.
Yeah, exactly. The hat, right? That's exactly it. He's got his angle, right? He's doing so well. He probably doesn't need the gimmick anymore. I think he just likes it. But it does help, right? It helps. Like when you spot like a bloke in a nice shirt and a cowboy hat download, it's probably Andy Copping. So it's exactly the right. Yeah, perfect. Makes sense.
It's really interesting that you've spent all this time analysing all the different festivals that there are in the UK. I mean, that's genius what you've worked out as well, that you have to have a face to the brand to for people to engage with, which makes sense when you think about it. But until you've looked at the data, you don't really think that, do you? But in your looking at festivals, you obviously know it's a crowded market.
Yeah, very.
Lots of people want to put festivals on.
They do.
So how easy or difficult has it been for you to make a festival? Because it's something that we joke about on Festpod. We want to put on Festpod Fest.
That would be cool. Yes. That'd be amazing.
I mean, who knows whether that will ever happen? But it's just from your perspective, what's it been like?
Post-COVID is very hard. There's been a change that I've noticed in the market, right? So if you cast your minds back 3 years ago, you probably had tickets 4 years ago, oh my goodness, you probably had tickets booked to a big gig of some sort, whether you were going to see Metallica on tour, whoever it was. You probably had hotels booked. You probably had trains booked in advance or whatever it might be. And all of those events cancelled. And so post-COVID, what that does to the consumer mindset is say, well, I'm just going to be a bit cautious and I'm going to book a little bit closer to the time. And then what happens, promoters who don't understand that and what's going on, they get to 2 months to go, they've sold 10% of their tickets and they panic, cut their losses and close down their event. Now, that's a spiral because the problem is the consumer then buys a little bit later in the day to avoid that from happening. So then promoters don't get many tickets until a month to go. And then you get this real panic and it's so stressful. It's really, really hard to do because you've just got to cross your fingers and hope that you're doing everything right and that you're going to sell loads of tickets last minute. But like with Hammerdown, the patterns, the trends are the ticket sales for all of my events, they at least double in the last 2 weeks, right? So last year, Hammerdown, we had 113 tickets with 2 weeks to go. We ended up in 228. The warm-up show last year was 25 and we ended up on 52. This year, tonight's warm-up show, at the 2 week mark a few weeks ago, we were on 33 tickets. As of this morning, we were on 84, right? And it's tonight, so we'll do a couple on the door. It may even triple. And so I am thousands of pounds behind break even for Hammerdown Festival at the end of July. Thousands of pounds. And I just have to cross my fingers, trust that I'm doing the right thing. I'm getting on the interviews on my birthday in my suit. I'm working. I've got to trust that tomorrow when I'm hungover and I'm out in Brighton flying for the festival, when I could be feeling sorry for myself in bed, You know, when I'm posting on a social media every single day, I just have to trust and hope and pray that in the last 2 weeks it's going to double again. Because if it doesn't, I'm in some serious trouble. And this is the thing, right? Because as an event gets bigger, that means that the deficit that you face with a month to go is bigger every year. So like this year, the deficit could legitimately bankrupt me if miraculously nobody buys any more tickets, right? And then next year, that deficit with a month to go will be even bigger because the festival will be bigger. And so the stress is, I love it. I eat the pressure. I love it, but it's hard, man. It is very, very difficult. And that's a post-COVID consumer mindset. And the only way to beat it is to have, I mean, certain events that sell out. Stone Dead done incredibly well. They've done, I mean, they sold out without their headliner announced. Like, that's awesome. And so they now can put the pressure on the public to say, hey, if you don't buy soon, you're not going to be able to come at all, right? So for events that are selling out, you know, it doesn't matter because people have to buy early. But if that's not the case yet, people just buy at the last minute, and you just have to hope and pray that it's going to go well. And that's pretty much it. You know, you just got to trust the process, trust you're doing the right stuff, and hope that it all works out. It's mad.
Now, you know, because you've come from sales, you obviously like the pressure, which I guess helps in putting a festival on because, you know, you I guess, are you calm or are you just determined or? You know, I don't.
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of things. I think one, it's understanding you can only do what's in your control, right? And you can't do anything else. So you just have to trust that your actions are going to influence the result. And that's what we were always taught in sales. There's no external factors. It was all about what you put in. And once you take away anything else affecting, like there are things that affect your business. Of course there are. You know, if there's a pandemic, you can't operate a festival, obviously. But aside from that, if you take away excuses, then you allow you put yourself in a place where you have no choice but to succeed, because the blame is just on you. So I've learned to blame everything on me. So when it goes wrong, then it's my fault, and I can do things about it to fix it or improve it. But also that means that I allow myself to feel good about myself and what I'm doing when it goes well. Because the problem with people who blame stuff when it goes wrong is that they don't ever actually feel good when it goes well, because they go, oh, well, yeah, we got a bit lucky, the weather was good, or oh, and then you don't actually take any credit for any of the hard work. Whereas if you blame yourself for everything, then you're going to be able to take the wins far better as well, and you just feel better about yourself for doing so. And I think that really, really helps. So yeah, but yeah, I do love the pressure. I do genuinely enjoy the graft. I think if you're going to have a story to tell your kids and grandkids one day, you've got to work hard for that story. And so I don't mind it. I think it's great. It's fun.
Yeah, it does seem fun.
Fun is one word. It does sound fun. I think if Festpod Fest ever does become a thing, I think the first person we'll be calling is I'm going to rename you Hammercock Harry.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks, mate.
Just to give the kind of the visual description, you know, like a hammerhead shark.
Yeah,
right? Your cock's like a hammerhead shark shape. Yeah.
Do you mean it's got two at either end of the thing? Right.
You go in and you're ruining things. You go in and destroying things. You go,
that is what I want to do. I just want to destroy everything. Yeah, man. Everything in my path.
Yeah, so you get what you want because you've got a hammercock.
Yeah.
And
it does help. It does help. Yeah.
Exactly. So you'd be the first person we call if Festpod Fest ever does take off, because I think, you know, you just want you want more pressure anyway.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
But like, you know, have you got other people who are helping you out in the background?
Yeah. 100%. It's definitely not just me. There's so I mean, this is a full-time job. A lot of people think a festival's seasonal. It isn't. All the planning goes on all through the winter and the spring, right? And then it's all the promo in the late spring, early summer. So it is legitimately a full-time thing. So 363 days a year, I work on this every day. It is all I do, right? And for 2 days of the year, when the festival is on, I've got a whole production crew that just run I say, it's your festival now. I'm going to get pissed and watch some bands. Thank you very much. And that's legit how it goes. So I've got a whole crew that deal with things on the day, but I also have people that help, like Sam, who's been part of the journey the last few years. Sam, like when the summer comes around, he's like, right, okay, what can we do? What do we need to do? And he'll be out on the streets flying with me. He helps run the show on the week of, and he's very, very competent. He helps with a lot of the judging for the online competition. So Sam is great. We've had other people come and go in our time as well that have been part of the process. But yeah, majoritively it's me during the year, and then a handful of people like a crew that come and help out in the summer on the lead up to. And we've got a management company now, and I've got 2 people that work for the company, George and Shanice. They're awesome, and they're getting a lot more involved with the festival now, so they're going to be doing a lot of stuff. Like I'm allowing them to run with the ball a little bit in terms of lineup for next year. I just want to see them do well in the music industry, so they're helping to make a lot of decisions. They're going to be helping to run the show, next month on the weekend of it. They want to work in the music industry, and it's like, great, cool, let's do it. What can I get you guys? What do you want to do? Let's do it. So that's great as well. We've got 2 kind of like two Anakins and in the squad. So so that's fun. It's cool.
That's amazing, man. Fair play to you. I'm totally in awe of what you're doing. I really am. And
it's not that exciting yet.
I understand
I appreciate
how much work it is, but how much work you're putting into it, how much stress you're putting on yourself, but what you're doing is you're giving bands that opportunity, and
trying.
You're doing something that you've got passion for, and waking up in the morning and having that stress, but knowing that what you're doing is something that you love is, that's 90% of what you should be doing in life. So that's amazing that you can do that for yourself.
Really appreciate it. Thank you. Try my best.
So if anyone's intrigued and would like to buy 1 or 2 tickets for Hammerdown Harry's Hammerdown,
Hammercock Harry,
how do they do that? Sorry, yeah, Hammercock.
Sorry, just correct Neil there, Rich. Yeah. Well done. Well, 1, 2, or 17 tickets. You could buy 17 if you want, and they are available. So we've got the links to the tickets. They're all over our social media. So they're on the social media stories every day. They're on our Facebook page. They're in the Facebook event. You can also go and buy them directly from Concord 2's website. If you want the quickest route, that's probably the quickest route to go and get them. So go to Concord 2, go on the listings, find Hammerdown Festival on there, and grab yourself some tickets.
And just out of curiosity, that lapel pin you're wearing there, have you got a merch store? Is that available to buy?
This particular pin is not available to buy, but we do have lots of cool merch. Yeah, we've got a whole load of unique stuff coming. I'm really, really excited for it. We've got, so tonight at this warm-up show is the first time some of it's going on sale. We've got these Hammerdown family tees, which is really it's like a thank you to all the people who've helped build it. There's lots of people who come to all our events and are amazing. And so we've got those, and they're beautiful. We've got patches for the first time. So I've obviously got some Hammerdown patches on the battle suit, and we've got them on sale. We've got lineup shirts that will be coming prior to the event, so they'll be ready to go. We print them as late in the day as possible to avoid dropouts and then having the wrong lineup on the tees. So we just hold fire on those until it's late in the day. We've had that before, and it's like, just whatever. So so there's them, and then we've also got a whole massive shipment of lighters, coasters, hip flasks, flipping all sorts of Hammerdown branding all over it, bottle openers. There's loads of cool stuff coming. Sunglasses, I think, are coming with like Hammerdown on the side.
Nice.
There's all sorts coming. So I'm buzzing for it. I'm really excited. So there is some cool stuff that's going to be available at festival as well.
Cool. Do you know what? We need to take a trip. We need a Festpod trip down to Hammerdown.
You should come down. Yeah. Well, I think I mentioned that at download. Come along if you're available. If you're not already going to Steelhouse and Radar Fest, which are also fantastic festivals, come to Hammerdown. Come along.
Absolutely. So it's the fingers crossed for good weather. I know you want to take on the blame, as you said, for all aspects of it. But let's hope for good weather. Good weather makes people happy.
Of course, it does help. Of course, it does. Absolutely, yeah. So I'm fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Cheers, Harry. Thanks very much for coming on.